Are you ready for some Halloween crafting? Because I am. Today I'm going to show you how I created this cute note card set featuring stamps from Pretty Pink Posh, who's giving over a dozen $20 gift certificates during this YouTube hop. So make sure to leave your comment before August 11th and check out the description box below for more information on that. After stamping all my images onto some cardstock here with alcohol marker friendly ink, I let them dry and then I went over to get some Olo markers. Now if you prefer Copics, there is a comparison chart. I'll link it in my description box along with all the other things I'm using. But I want to keep it simple and just use 2 or 3 shades of each color. So I'm going to choose this orange shade family as well as this pink and purple for my pumpkin buckets. And I do all my coloring around about the same way. I'm not too fussy with it. I'm going around the outside of the bucket with the darkest shade. Then I'll use the medium shade to kind of go in another layer, and I'm going to feather the 2 colors back and forth. And then finally I'll take the lightest shade here in the middle, again going back over the other shades to kind of feather and blend that color out. And if needed, I'll even go back to the other 2 colors and go blend it back and forth until I'm satisfied. For these tiny little candy pieces in the buckets, there is absolutely no way that I can use multiple colors to shade them. I'm not that good. So I'm going to choose the lightest shade from each of the marker color families I picked earlier. And then what I like to do, maybe it's a hack, I don't know, is pull out my gel pens to add all these details and color in the spaces that I couldn't with the markers. Now let me tilt this back and forth so you can see all that shine and detail that this captured. I really love doing this. Once I have all those colored, it's time to die cut all these pieces. Look how cute! Okay, now I want to do this frame that's going to form my shaker window. I'm taking 2 different sizes of a nested A2 die set, and this is a piece of A2 cardstock that I'm using here, but I want to use all the images I colored, so I'm going to cut out 6 of them. I'll use that larger frame and inner little rectangle on some other projects later. I just need this center frame. For the card base, I have cut my cardstock to 4 3/4 inches wide by 7 inches tall. Then I'm going to go ahead and fold it in half, which gives me a finished card size of 3.5 by 4 3/4 wide, which will give us a perfect size to fit inside of a 4-bar envelope. I enjoy the texture of watercolor cardstock when you're doing ink blending, so I've pulled out this A2 pack of watercolor paper, and I'm going to cut it right in half, because you'll see here that this will give me a size that fits just behind my shaker window. I'm going to ink blend about half of each piece from corner to corner in a diagonal using Distress Oxide ink colors that I think coordinate well with the marker colors I chose earlier. Now I don't think I can do some Distress Oxide blend without actually adding a little fun distressing. So I'm going to splash on some water droplets, blot them up with a paper towel, and then I'm also going to do a little bit of a black splatter as well as a white splatter. The acetate sheets I have come pre-packaged as an A2 size, so I'm going to cut those in half, add a little adhesive to the back of my frames, and then secure each of those in place. Once the ink blended backgrounds have had a chance to dry, I am ready to go ahead and stamp the sentiment on. Now it's time for foam tape. I'm adding this all the way around the border of each frame, ensuring that I leave no gaps for my sequins and beads to fall out later. After piling a little shaker mix to the center of each ink blended background, it is time to secure my shaker frame over the top. Make sure I press everything down and then give it a shake. You have to test the shake. On the back, I have a little alignment boo-boo here, and that's some exposed adhesive. I don't want it to get stuck on things as I'm getting my card ready, so I'm going to take a little bit of tape and just cover that little bit up, and no one will know. I love adding twine to my projects. I think it's very cute. So I'm going to create a little belt here, making sure I leave the ends just long enough so I can wrap it around the back and secure it in place with tape. Sometimes I tie my bow directly in line on the twine. However, sometimes it gets things a little off, it adds bulk, it uses more supplies. So in cases like this, I will tie my bow separately. Then I can zhuzh it and play with the size until I like it just right before trimming it off of the spool. I'm going to eyeball where I want this little candy bucket to go. Then I will flip it on over and add some foam adhesive strips, ensuring I leave an open channel where I think that twine is going to fall. This way I won't have a funny little bump underneath. Now I can add a little glue to the back of this bow and add it to the top. For little delicate things like this, I like to use my reverse grip tweezers to pinch it and hold it in place while it dries. I can go ahead and attach this candy bucket to the front of the card too. Once I'm sure my bow is done drying, I can remove those tweezers and get ready to attach this to my card base. Now the reason I attach my card base last is because too many times I have had my card base get ruined because I dropped it in ink or glue. So now, just to ensure that it stays nice and pristine, I typically will glue my card front to the base as the very last step. Now once it's all done, of course, we have to give it another shake one more time. And here are some beauty shots of all the cards I did. I really hope you enjoy this. Don't forget to leave a comment and check that description box. You'll see links to everything I used and a link to my blog post where you will find all the dimensions and colors listed for everything I used today. I hope you had a fun time. Until next time, stay crafty.